So I have a bit of a rant episode, and I'll be talking about it right now. So I hate the word creep. If there's one word I can't stand in the English dictionary, it's this word, okay? Because I see it being misused frequently all the time, and it's really dangerous. I've seen people get fired over this. I've seen it affect people's mental health. I've seen it provoke people. And if somebody hasn't done anything wrong, then shut the fuck up and don't label them something they're not. All right? So I'm not going to be politically correct about that. I'm not going to be polite about that because that's just messed up. So let's talk about it. So, you know, it doesn't make sense. And if anything, it's extremely disrespectful and unethical to just attach incorrect labels to people. And we're going to be using this particular word as an example. So I remember one time um, there was this old man. He was just passing by and he just waved like hello toward the direction using his right or left hand, one of his hands, while smiling at some baby in a stroller. And as he was just passing by the sidewalk during this random walk, I also happened to be on, heading the same direction as this dude, but I was maybe a couple meters back, maybe like five, meters behind him or something. And this was many years ago on Market Street in San Francisco, up in the Bay Area, if you guys are familiar with California. Um, as soon as, this baby's 30 something year old mother noticed, like, seemed like a lady in her early 30s, like some kind of young mother type, she just told the dude, this old dude, to not greet her baby because it was like creepy and uncomfortable. And mind you, the guy wasn't homeless, he wasn't schizophrenic, and there's nothing wrong with homeless people. There's nothing wrong with schizophrenic people either. If that were the case, so it's still fine. He didn't do anything wrong. Anyway, she told him like, hey, don't greet my child, don't say hi or like wave toward my child because that's creepy and uncomfortable. Stay away. And then the old man who was just passing by her, he just replied back to her like, "Oh my God, I wasn't trying to create any drama, lady. I wasn't trying to create any problems here." And then like sadly, he put his head down and just walked away. Like they eventually just crossed each other. And the thing is, he didn't do anything unusual. He didn't try to touch anyone. He didn't try to like jump in front of the lady's like stroller or like anything that would be deemed as authentic, creepy, disturbing, strange, weird, unusual behavior. So there was nothing he did that was wrong. Um, and keep in mind that this wasn't something recent because I know people are like, oh, nowadays safety is a concern, crime's going up everywhere, blah blah blah. Of course, they over exaggerated. This was something like 15, 20 years ago. It wasn't something that was recent or related to recent safety issues. And yeah, anyway, so what did I want to mention? Yeah, it was just an ordinary greet. He was passing through, and the woman reacted this way. It was insane. And I also remember one time. This is something that now that's more directly related to me. I was taking some kind of pictures in a different city or a different country. I don't remember, and it was related to a Halloween festival. And at this event, we were near some square or plaza or something. There was this lady who was angry that her child ended up in one of my photos. I think the child was like 6 years old or something, like in kindergarten or first grade. I was actually taking like a panoramic kind of recording of this entire square because there was a bunch of kids and adults who were dressed in all kinds of Halloween costumes, right? And she noticed I'm kind of like moving my smartphone, my iPhone around, right? Left and right a couple times, kind of like trying to set up this panoramic effect. And that's when she suddenly came kind of towards me, and she was standing like a couple yards away, and then she was like, "Don't take pictures of my child. This is dangerous. I don't know what your intentions are. This is creepy. Don't do that, blah blah blah." And I noticed her just for a moment, for 2 seconds. I faced her direction just to see where the voice was coming from. She was slightly diagonal from me, like maybe by 12.5 degrees. I just briefly noticed her, but I didn't bother to respond to her at all. I didn't care about her stupid concerns because I'm just focused on this event. I'm taking a panoramic, view of this beautiful event. The lighting was great, and here's this paranoid moron who thinks everything is about her. These people have like main character syndrome, like that same kind of mentality you see in RPG video games and other kind of video games, where a character acts like because with the main character, this is the character you tend to control. It's the character that receives all the attention, right? That's where the concept comes from. So when we say like main character syndrome, we're referring to people who think like the entire world revolves around them, and like these type of people are usually incredibly entitled, very rude, disrespectful, callous. They think they can dictate or trample on other people's rights, and they end up experiencing a lot of misunderstandings. But sometimes they're just intentionally trying to be rude and controversial. And when you think about the Karen types, they fall under this category of main character syndrome. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't even bother. I didn't even respond back to her because why should I? I didn't do anything wrong. The misunderstanding is coming from her. It's not coming from me. So I want to leave you with 2 points I want to make today. Right. Number one, don't call people something they're not. And this doesn't just strictly apply to the word creep, but any word. If you're a teenager, you're joking with friends, and you call your friend like, a homo, a pedo, or just, an incel, or freak, or weirdo, that's wrong too. Anything that has like a bit of a stigma or can damage someone's reputation, don't use that word because it's misleading, and you're mischaracterizing the person, and it could probably get them in serious trouble too in some cases. We've seen people go to prison because of false rape accusations, even though there was no like DNA evidence discovered, and the person never even had sex with the person. But you saw like some people go to prison for decades over such nonsense. And so, yeah, that's unethical, immoral, not right, should be illegal, honestly, everywhere, because you can sometimes damage their reputation or get them in serious trouble. And again, actions always have consequences, and so do incorrect words and labels. And the second point I want to leave you with is people who do this a lot are, typically paranoid, super anxious, and I understand it's possible, maybe some of them have gone through some kind of problems in life, but there are some that haven't. And when they act this way, they're the ones who are the true creeps, or whatever they're labeling other people here. All right. So they're the ones, and I highly recommend this. They need to seek mental health therapy, okay, right away. Because this kind of behavior is absolutely unacceptable and disgusting, atrocious, and ridiculous. Okay, so they need to learn to be more polite and kind around other people. Who are being respectful toward them. They're not creating problems, and otherwise, especially in the day of social media, with all these people who have like two, three, five, seven, 10 different cameras. Uh, if this behavior doesn't stop, then people will get hurt. Okay. And I've already mentioned actions and words do have consequences. There are some people where if you accuse them of being something they're not, they might respond physically back at you. You know, like fuck around and find out. They might punch you in the face. They might push you, like, you know, onto the street, or slap you, or spit on you, or whatever, you know? So you're creating like a situation that's not safe for anyone involved, not for yourself, not for the other person. And God knows, maybe, you know, other people might hear things or mishear things, and they might get involved, and a lot of people end up, you know, suffering from unintended consequences. So, and sad, that shouldn't be the way. We need to be more civilized. We need to be more ethical. We need to be more vigilant, and we need to be more educated and less ignorant. I want to leave you with those 2 points. Okay, and I'll see you next time.